Good evening. This is Caitlin Glimmy. I thought that I would take a second and redo my first artifact, primarily because number one, I was negligent in really looking deeper into the chalkboard program and I didn't see how Module 1 actually worked and that there were more assignments to it. So I didn't realize that there's more to do until last night. And when I tried to do it, A, it was very rushed, and B, I finished it at 12:07, and I wasn't allowed to submit it. And I did email you today, and I haven't heard back. I'm currently locked out of Module 2 because I don't have a submission for Artifact 1. And so I thought, while I'm waiting to get into the class, I would redo this artifact and try to do it proper. And I I don't know if you'll accept it for anything, but at minimum, if you could give me feedback and let me know if I'm on the right track now, that'd be awesome. Um, so this is sorry, I just realized I was on the wrong slide. I was reading the discussions last night, and I really got struck by the idea of assessment as learning. My previous employment, I worked at the Challenge Academy at Fort McCoy, and while I was there, we had the cadets make this large binder, and I would say it was a 4 to 6 inch thick binder, where they would keep all of their artifacts and all of the things they had done while they were at Challenge that applied to their future goals. So if their goal was to go back to high school, it would include letters that they wrote to the principal, responses, phone contacts, grade sheets, that sort of thing. If their goal included transportation, it would include their emails and contacts with a driver's ed school or confirmation of their driver test date, that sort of thing. Letters from their parents certifying or verifying that they had a vehicle that they were able to use. Um, and the cadets put a lot of diligence and a lot of effort into these binders because it was proof of how much they had completed and how much they had actually done in the short amount of time we had them. And this is something I've been lacking with my current students. I work at juvenile detention, and my current students struggle with motivation. They are locked up. They are not allowed out. They very rarely get to see their parents because it's up to the parents to come and visit. And they have very little interest in school because they don't see the benefit of it. And many of them are so far behind in school that they're constantly playing catch up. And so there's no intrinsic motivation there. And I haven't wanted to use self self evaluations or anything like that with them because they get those a lot between the social worker, the therapist, the judges and counselors, people who come to work with them on their legal issues. They're given a lot of self evaluations and they've learned just to jump through the hoops. And so I don't feel that they really see a lot of importance in them. But during the discussion about assessment as learning, I had a realization that I need to find a way to have my students take an interest in documenting and tracking their academic success. And today, which I know it's after the timeline, but today the opportunity presented itself in the most amazing way. We have a young man with us who's been with us for over almost 3 years now. And he's been in our core program twice, which is not typical. Um, when you're in core program, your goal is to move through phases. And phase 3 is a big one because it's when you get an ankle bracelet and are allowed out on supervised visits. Eventually, phase 4 is where you get to stay at home with an ankle bracelet on and you're completely out of the facility. Um, so this gentleman, every time he gets phase 3, he will run. He'll cut off the bracelet and run. And it's unfortunate because phase 3 is supposed to be a symbol of they've learned the steps and coping skills necessary to be able to be successful. And he's shown repeatedly that he can, basically fake the funk enough that he gets to phase 3 and then he runs. and he's usually gone for a couple weeks up to 2 months before we're able to find him and bring him back. And in that time, he will fail whatever classes he was enrolled in. He came to us with a half credit of school, and he currently has, I believe, 9 credits, or it might be up to 12 now. Um, so this young man struggles with bouts of positive reinforcement and positive motivation. When he's in school, he's very successful. But when he runs and he falls behind, he really struggles with the motivation to catch up. So, over his time with us, he has only gained a half credit of gym, even though he's been with us for almost 3 years. And he needs a full credit still to graduate, and he's already a senior. So, we were trying to figure out how he could possibly get retroactive credit for all the work he's already done. And we can't reach out to his gym teacher from last year because that gentleman moved to Montana. And we realized that our guards document when the students are in the gym area, either with the gym teacher or with a staff member. And we realized we could go back in time and find the documented data where he has actually been in gym class, and we can use those hours as contact hours so that he can get credit. And one of the staff members said, "Well, what if, should we document this semester as well?" And I realized it's the perfect opportunity for this student and all of our other students to start taking ownership in their academics. Previously on phase 3, the way they got phase 3 was by having a certain number of contact hours. This included personal therapy, group therapy, family therapy, meeting with their social worker. And the kids were super diligent about documenting every minute to make sure that they earned every possible contact hour they could get so they could get phase 3. And I think they'll apply that same motivation to documenting gym hours if they know that it means it's going to help them get their gym credit, especially this young man, because he is currently motivated, but he, like I said, he does lose he loses motivation quickly when he feels like there's too many barriers in his way. So I made a very simple gym log, and this is my artifact that I'll send you. And it's very straightforward. The day they are, the day they go, how long they're in gym class, and then whichever staff member took them there. And this way they can be in charge of what they're doing, but then there's a staff verification that they're not just writing down random things. And I thought, well, why should I stop there? Our students in their cells are only allowed a softcover book. They aren't allowed pencils, they aren't allowed paper. They aren't even allowed pencils with erasers on them when they're being supervised by staff. It's very strict. So all they get in the cells are books, so they do like to read a lot. And I thought, well, if the gym log goes well, perhaps I could give them a reading log as well, because this is something that they could document on their own, keep it tucked in their book. When they're done in their cell, they can write down what they read. And it's something I can incorporate into either their English or literacy courses. And just a way to validate how much time they spend doing that. Because these students do read a lot. And they read some really cool stuff, too. One of my goals last year was to try to get new books in. And I was able to pair up with one of our reading specialists in one of our high schools. And she was able to get us 2 boxes of books that the students got to pick out. So I hope to do that again this year as well. But, so here's my artifacts idea. Again, let me know if I'm on track, if I'm off track. I understand that it's late. I understand I may not get points for it. I fully understand that. I'm going to email this to you through Chalkboard because it seems like our normal emails go there as well. And if I don't hear from you tomorrow, I will try giving you a call. So have a good evening or have a good day, depending on when you watch this. And I do look forward to this class, especially when the first artifact already gave me such good ideas. So have a wonderful one. I look forward to hearing from you.